While use cases for AI continue to grow.
Now let's turn to artificial intelligence.
This is the beginning of a new wave.
More optimism around AI agents kind of taking over for co-pilots as a killer app for Gen AI.
I'm gonna have to put on the glasses because we are going to talk intelligently. Glasses are on. It is time to talk about crypto ad networks. I do run a marketing business called RealAgency. That's the quick shill. I work for a lot of companies, and we tend to work for companies in crypto. So it's important that we understand ad networks and marketing. And this may be relevant to you if you're running a company currently, as we're gonna talk about agentic ad networks. And this is gonna be a part 2 from my last video where I called and discussed dilutive validation, because this does play a role overarching. What is agentic networks, or what is agentic networking, and how does it relate to crypto? An agentic network is when an AI agent is designed and developed to interface with a human at the top of funnel as a personality or as a utility agent, effectively a bot that can interact with you and learn from you. The theory is when you can create a bot around what you like and what you dislike, eventually advertisements will poke directly into your bot. It is supposed to be the future of advertising. We'll see. I have a couple of pros and cons as to why I'm not sure that is, and other reasons why I think this could be a multi-billion dollar industry. Okay, so I want to highlight, and not financial advice, I put money in this token. I'm not saying you should, but I want to talk about Vader AI, and they're one of the first to try this. A guy named Vader Research has been building it. I've known him from prior work in gaming, and I think he's a very smart guy. So hi, Vader. They've built an agentic ad network where there is something called Vader AI. It is a AI that talks to its owners with the Vader AI token, and they've created this flywheel, or supposed flywheel, where if a bunch of tokens submit their tokens to a decentralized wallet, in this case Vader AI has its own wallet, then the Vader AI is programmed to talk about your token or your product more likely in natural conversation or in signal conversations. And the concept is Vader AI is supposed to replace a normal influencer, a human influencer, because something like Vader AI can create 50 times as many posts as 20,000 videos if they ever do videos. And because it can make money for people who hold the Vader AI token or are part of the Vader AI DAO, then it allows for people to believe that whatever token Vader AI has, that it is worth looking at. This is what we call in the Web2 business as offer wall. It's not used as often because Apple doesn't really allow it, or Apple's kind of blocked it. But an offer wall is when you create a reward incentive for people to click through an action to try an app or a product or an experience. It's actually very effective. It's just not really used in Web 2 because it's very hard to do it with the current platforms. So that is what offer walls are, and that's how the Vader AI works. The only difference, which is very interesting, is unlike traditional offer walls where the rewards will automatically go to an individual user immediately or upon redemption, Vader AI has a decentralized wallet, and that wallet over a period of time, I don't know what the presets are, but for those who are staking the Vader AI token, meaning locking it up in a pool so there's liquidity, they will get airdropped those tokens based on the amount of tokens they hold. And the hope is, because Vader AI is getting smarter, there's more tokens wanting to submit to it and get exposure. Therefore, the advantage of staking is significant, which price go up technology. And if price go up technology works, then so does attention go up technology. They run in parallel. And I'm going to walk through the pros and cons of this because we've already covered dilutive validation. We've already asserted why companies are going to start creating their own agents and what could that become. And agentic networks is one facet of what this can become. And there's a very popular investor who says everything is an ad network, but I wanted to cover that in particular. Okay, so before I go to the pros and cons of the agentic network, I want to talk about the advertising funnel traditionally. What does top of funnel mean? What does bottom funnel? Very simple. The top is the first interaction a user is going to have with understanding your product. So for example, with a game, the top of funnel is a game ad. And then going to bottom funnel, the bottom funnel is at the point at which that they download the game and they play it. And you go even further down the funnel if you're in business, which is they bought the game and now they've bought a microtransaction and they're hooked into the ecosystem. And in the crypto world, the funnel works like this. I'm going to preface it with agentic networks. Prior to agentic networks, the funnel was platform, meaning Twitter or X. Then it would go to DEX or SEX. DEX stands for decentralized exchange. SEX stands for centralized exchange. And then eventually product. And the exchange to product part is interchangeable, but you hope you go to product before exchange, but that's not how it works in crypto, and that's not how it really works lately in the world of Gamba. But for the sake of this lesson, we just have to be honest and realistic. So with Agentic, the funnel is very similar, but the top is the agent, and then the bottom is the product. So it's the same row. You go Agentic, Twitter or X, you then go Dex or Sex, and then you go product. And the reason this is and why agentic ad networks or agents are really interesting for crypto, especially if you're building a business, is that crypto has one huge problem, which is the UI/UX problem. It's such a complicated technological tool, although extremely revolutionary and innovative, that the average user can't really interact with it appropriately. Now, there are really great apps like, for example, Slingshot, shout out, sponsor, and my shill, they are a client, who is solving this problem without AI to a degree. But for normal companies, AI is going to be the cheapest solve. So rather than learning how Deck Screener works and learning how to acquire a product, you would just create a bot, let's say inside Discord, and you go, okay, Jonah bot, I really want to buy 3 tokens that have a cute character, have a market cap over 10 million, and they're on these 3 exchanges, all right? And then the AI bot will go, oh, you're so great, you're so handsome, Jonah's a handsome guy. Here, I already have your wallet, your Phantom, your MetaMask attached, and I've gone and I've made these trades for you. My recommendation is to sell at this market cap, and you'll select yes or no. So it's just a highly advanced bot that uses natural language or machine learning to talk to you in a human way. So I think that's really interesting, because it does a couple things when you're in an agentic network. It opens up the pipeline for multiple platforms that are non-Twitter but have a lot of users to become an ad network. So for example, Discord is really bad at programmatic. It's a really great retention tool for your community. So if you're building a community, it's amazing, but it's horrible to advertise in because there's no way to get search. If you implant AI agents into every Discord as an automatic tool and you pay the agent in this agentic framework like Vader AI, in theory, you could build a interwoven ad network in a platform that didn't previously have it. And I think you could do that for Telegram and a number of messaging apps, even text message. I mean, effectively, if you could download a text message bot, now texting people is an ad network. Now, I don't suggest doing that because people do it during every election and it becomes extremely annoying, and there should be a barrier, but it does make these ad networks more efficient. Whether that converts is another question, and we'll get to that. So I spoke about the positives, especially the revenue sharing is really compelling. Let's talk about the negatives, okay? And by the way, the saying for AI goes, this is the worst it'll get. So it will get better. So I'm gonna talk about the negatives with a preface that stuff like this is likely to get solved. One, it's too passive. The value of an ad network is that you're gonna get eyeballs, and eyeballs are valuable when people are interacting. So you have something called a CPM, which is cost per 1,000 views. It's a very standard metric in advertising. And the CPM value is determined by the value of the eyeballs that you're acquiring. CPM on YouTube is very high because it's a super engaged audience versus the CPM on, let's say, TikTok, and this is coming out of my head, is probably lower because you're just flip. Like there's a very low watch time rate. So the reason why CPM gets better over, let's say, the 10-minute mark on YouTube is because the more people are watching something and really ingrained in something, the more likely they are to buy a product from you. And this is why YouTubers have like a NordVPN sponsorship, or everyone has Raycons. You've heard these names because they're spending really high premiums on ads to engage with a creator. And the Google Ads platform is also targeting those users, and it has a big breadth of data. And that will get to my next point. So just dropping a token and then doing ad share, that's a really low CPM value. So we need to find a way to quantify the value of the user attached to the agentic AI network. One way is to measure their LTV, lifetime value. That's probably why Vader AI is implementing staking, because the longer someone stakes and the longer someone is staying with the network, it means they're likely putting their eyeballs focused on that particular agent, which would increase their LTV, and therefore there's a better CPM rate. And right now, this is so new, is that we're not even creating adjusted rates. What's happening is people are just just throwing tokens at Vader AI because it's a mad rush. So we just have no CPM ratings and it's a black box. But I think that's going to change. There's no appropriate data pipeline to measure and create inventory for an agentic network. In advertising, you have something called a DSP and an SSP, a demand side platform and a supply side platform. It's pretty simple. It's an automatic, computerized way of serving ads to users on platforms. It's a way to get automatic distribution through what's called like real-time bidding. So basically, there's an ad on the demand side, and then the supply side, there's users. In the exchange between the demand side platform and the supply side platform, they're both sharing data with each other through effectively their own AI, honestly, or their own data. And they're computationally creating a number or a measurement on the value of those users. And they're also creating bids around those users. I am not the greatest ad expert in the world, but I know enough. So if you need a total ad expert, there's plenty of other great YouTubers because I'm really good at unique experience advertising and go-to-market growth, which is based on campaign-based advertising. But there's great YouTubers who are very technologically advanced on real-time bidding technology. Us as a firm are getting really good at it, and we may be working on a platform for that. I can't say much now, but that's something you really need to pay attention to. Agentic ad networks, they don't have that. Right now, they're only pulling from tokens, and maybe that's the future. But that goes to the question is who's going to create the demand side and the supply side platform? It may be the exchanges. It may be Coinbase, Binance, Bybit who create those things, or it could be the creator of Vader AI or other tokens such as Sploots. You know, I may be working on a token. I can't say more. It may be Sploots. This is a complete shell for Sploots. We like the doggies. They're good doggies, and we've got plans for the little doggies, but I can't say much on this video. That's a future video. The biggest negative potential is the novelty of the ad network. Most demand side and supply side platforms are selling ads on eyeballs that are not acutely aware that they're being targeted. These platforms are not necessarily buying your eyeball directly. They're buying it from a group like YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, right? And they're selling in, they're offering a marketplace of eyeballs. When you have an AI agentic framework and you're talking to an AI, there's a much more personal connection, and there may be some disingenuous interaction with an AI if the human that's interacting with the AI feels that it is not receiving a genuine relationship to it and is just being sold corporate slop. And so the natural language around selling a product has to feel very personal and unique, or on the other hand, people have to be very clear that they're there just to make money. But if a user is there just to make money and not use a product, the lifetime value of that user is likely to be much lower because they haven't engaged with your product and they're not paying you directly. They just expect to make money from you. So in many ways, agentic ad networks right now are very similar to play-to-earn platforms where play-to-earn gaming just doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work in tranches. That's a future video. It does work, but the way it works is very weird. The novelty of it hasn't been standardized, so we don't know how bulletproof this particular network's gonna be or how it's gonna shape. And I go about this through what's very well known and has been known for more than 1,000 years. It's called Plato's Allegory of the Cave. I suggest if you're in business, you understand what the Plato's Allegory of the Cave is, but it's a story that basically talks about the human experience once it has acquired knowledge. And that knowledge can never be taken away from a person because they know too much. It's very similar to the saying of opening up Pandora's box, like it can't be closed. So in Plato's Allegory of the Cave, one man gets out of the cave, he sees the sunlight. He had never seen sunlight before, and he has this like massive epiphany. Then basically God or like whatever says, go back into the cave, and the human can't. It would probably rather kill itself than go back into the cave. And so I think that's the same way with agentic ad networks, where if they know they're being targeted in certain ways, will they now be so aware of being targeted by an ad? Will it feel natural enough for them to want to buy a product? Or when they get targeted by an AI agent that they deem a friend or a companion, will they feel disgust? Will they feel a distaste that will actually create a negative experience for an ad? Because right now humans will always trust other humans in terms of being in person or if they really like a creator. I think people start trusting AI more over time, but this is my initial theory in discussing what the AI agentic network is. And again, if you are a company, I run a marketing strategy firm, go-to-market firm, and basically 360 strategy firm called RealAgency. We are one of the top go-to-market and strategy firms in the world for crypto. We also have, or I have, a new token called Sploots, $Sploots, which you can get on Virtuals. And there's a lot of unique things I'm going to do with it that does tie to the agentic ad network. We're going to try a grand experiment, so keep posted as we go over that. Hopefully I didn't overload you. That's it. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.